Sometime in the 2020s, two geeks from across social media formed an alliance to bring you geek news from across the Nostalgiaverse. They are Jacob's Toys and SuperSorrell. So strap yourselves in for the weekly live show that brings you toy news, TV and movie reviews, special guests, opinions, tangents, and bad impressions. Reveals, releases, thoughts, and maybe dreams. So prepare yourselves for the Geek Week in Review. Live.
Oh, what is up? It is episode 146 of the Geek Week with me, Jacob's Toys, and of course, wonderful one and only SuperSorrell. Hello, everybody in the chat. People already commenting in the chat. If you're here, you're watching live, then of course, comment along. Doesn't matter where you're watching, as long as you're watching. We'll do our best to get to the comments. Lots of people talk about WrestleMania in the chat already. We are going to talk WrestleMania tonight on tonight's show. That is one of the things we are definitely going to go onto. And if you're watching us on Catch Up, SuperSorrell, what do they need to put in the chat?
Hashtag Catch Up Crew.
Hashtag Catch Up Crew, which quite a few people use. I'm quite pleased with that. There's lots of Catch Up Crew people catching up with the show. So very quickly, let's give a few people a shout out. Andy Roberts in the chat saying he's watching it with his daughter Imogen tonight. Hopefully she can stay awake. That's cool. Started with a click. Shelley, she's here at the moment. Could fall asleep because she was up watching WrestleMania all night. Ezra Gantos, Todd World, Sean the Sheep, Lula Sophie. I love that name. How we doing? Figure Fan 36, Bethany Beth. Good to see you all. Do comment along. We'll get to the rest of you as the show goes on. Whew, there we go. There's the big intro bit. How you doing, Sorrel?
I'm tired. Very, very tired. I stayed up last night. for WrestleMania, and so I've done the same tonight. I was fine all day because I sort of slept in this morning. It finished at like 4:30. I went daft. Fell back to sleep. Woke up about 10. Happy as a happy boy. And then I decided, we've got the podcast tonight. That starts at 9:30. It's not going to finish till about 10:30, 11. WB starts at midnight. I'm not going to be able to get a good nap in, so I'll have a nap before the podcast. Now I feel rougher than ever, and I'm sat here with 2 giant cups of coffee.
2, when 1 cup of coffee just isn't enough.
And it's filter coffee as well, so I'm going to be wired after this.
Oh, wow. On that note, I'm going to have a sip of mine. Before we get into what's been going on this week, let's talk about our own stuff. Any pickups for you this week?
No. Surprisingly enough, no. I've had a quiet week.
My week's been mental.
I've had a couple of things. I did pick up a couple of things. I did a video on my channel, like B&M got the new zombies in. So I got both of the 2 packs of them. Obviously, everyone knows I'm slightly obsessed. So I got those, and I just got a bunch of blind bag content, but I won't bore you to death with it because I know that's not your thing. So, but I got a bunch of blind baggy stuff.
I love a bit of blind bagging.
I literally this week, as you can see, sorting out the shelves behind me, things getting refreshed. But this week I just kind of went, I'm just gonna go full out on everything that I enjoy the most. So, that my box is now overflowing with blind bags, but I've got Poppy's Playtime, Five Nights at Freddy's, Roblox in there, Piggy. I've got a bit of Stumble Guys going on. It's mental. That box is overflowing.
Saw those. I went back to Legends this week.
Ooh.
Back to some Legends this week. I did some videos already, but I got the new Spider-Man figures in, which were very cool. Scarlet Spider and Last Stand were the 2 that I picked up out of that wave. So I got those. I got 10 issues of my Optimus Prime. 10 issues to do. Now, normally they send me 5 at a time, and I usually do them, and I kind of drip feed them through on the channel. However, Fan Home, the first package started with issue 32, and the second package started with issue 39 or whatever it was. And issue 32 was missing. I had a duplicate part in issue 35. So I contacted them straight away, and I was like, "Oh, guys, I've got a duplicate part." And they said, "That's no problem. We'll send it out to you. That's fine." But the bit that I'm missing is arriving after the second package I got. So I've now got 10 pieces that I need to make in one go, which is going to be really exciting. And what's really interesting is one of the parts has got a circuit board in it, which I didn't know that there was more electronics in the model. So that's going to be a lot of fun. That is definitely going to be a lot of fun. I got a really cool delivery from Diamond Select, which you can just kind of see here. So I've got the first one of this is the Leonardo diorama
That's nice.
Ninja Turtles, and there are 4 obviously altogether. But the really cool thing is that, as you can see here, there's detail there, but then on these 2 sides there's no detail. It's because the 4 of them all slot together and make like a big diorama piece. So obviously I've got the Leo a little while back, and Diamond Select sent me Mikey, which is really cool. He's like on his skateboard. I'll show you the picture, it'll be easier to show you. Kind of
That's
up on his skateboard, which is quite cool. And the other one that's out at the moment is Raphael.
Isn't it? Oh, Raphael.
Yeah, so that's your Raphael one. So you can kind of
Nice.
see the diorama up the top there.
Looks
How
good.
it all looks. They've got Donatello with his back to us because he's not out yet, I suppose. I don't know whether that's intentional or not. But as soon as Donatello comes out, I'll pick him up as well. But it makes for a really nice big diorama, which is very cool. Did I show you this last week?
No.
Or did I pick that up after the show?
I think you picked that up after the show.
So, game.
Mm.
We haven't had a game local to me for ages, and they opened up a new one in one of the Sports Direct shops, and this was in there for £8. £8,
Well worth it.
brand new. So, and it was labelled up at like £58 down to £8, and I even said to the guy, I was like, "How can you drop it so much?" And he was like, "Oh, we even contacted head office to make sure that wasn't like a fault." He goes, "But it is £8." So if you're a Power Ranger Street Fighter crossover fan, do check out your game because they might be in there.
And you'll be glad to know that your Jada Toys comes with a spare head, and it does fit on. Yep.
No, these are the other 3.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh.
so I've got the other there. I got Kami, had to be done. I got Ryu, had to be done, and I got Ken.
Nice. I'm just Ken.
But they're a really nice little set of 4. And like you say, the Jada Toys, all of the Jada Toys Street Fighter figures come with 2 heads. So one of those heads will go nicely on my Power Ranger, which is quite cool. So that was all the figures. Couple of other random things that I did this week that are a bit different. So Friday night, I went out to watch Stranger Things again.
Oh, yeah.
Time. So I saw it at the Vaults in London when it first came out. Absolutely loved it. It was very kind of like, not low budget, that's the wrong word, but it was very kind of
I know what you mean.
Edinburgh fringy type show. And then they announced a tour, and I went and saw the first leg of the tour at the Suffolk Playhouse. And then this weekend just gone, they visited Chelmsford, which is the closest one to me. So I went and took my eldest daughter to see it in Chelmsford. So I saw that for the 3rd time, which was very cool. And on Thursday night, I went to see Lee Francis in his My First Time show, which was really, really funny. If you're a fan of Lee Francis, I would say get tickets and go and see it. But tonight is the last leg of the tour. It's the very last show of the tour. He's actually in Leeds at the moment. But at the merch stand, I had to pick this up. So it wasn't framed. I've put it in a frame, but the guy, he does a lot of artwork, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So this is his Lost Boys print. So
nice.
But the nice thing is that he signed it. So he signed them all. So I got this nice Lost Boys print, courtesy of the Lee Francis show. But yeah, that was my week. Manic. Absolutely manic. Loads of stuff.
One thing I want to just say for people that are in the chat from my channel that have been watching me doing the Stumble Guys content, there's been some proper confusion this week because there's been the launch of the new Stumble Guys stuff came out, and PMI Toys got in contact with me and said, "Can we send you a box?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" So I got the big box, and it came with all the little minifigures, which I love collecting.
Yep.
On the same note, so PMI Toys are American, but they distribute to the UK, and Smith's Toys stock them. They also do Pudgy Penguin and Lanky Box and things like that. But another company from Europe that are from Italy called Diagante or something, they have been releasing their Stumble Guys merchandise to Smith's, right? Okay, and the blind bags that they're doing for their minifigures are identical in every way, shape, and form, and they're both called Series 1 Stumble Guys 3D minifigures, all right? The only way you can tell is on the back of the box, and on the back of the packagings, they've got different characters, but they have got a bunch of them that are the same, and do you know what the fun part is? They look practically identical. So that is a side-by-side comparison of that one's the PMI toys, and that's the Italian one. But they look identical, almost in every way, shape, and form. It's just slight colour variants. Yeah. It is so weird that because they've released basically the same toy at the same time. So I've been collecting both because and they're both scaled together, which is good, I suppose. Because like the Italian one released this really cool Anubis.
Yeah.
That you can't get that from PMI toys. But PMI toys have released like where are we? They've released some really cool ones like this big ass dragon.
Oh wow.
So yeah, they've released like very similar lines of toys at the same time. It's weird.
You know what I thought about when I watched your video, because Stumble Guys is obviously licensed by a lot of different franchises. Like they've just closed the He-Man chapter, I think is what they call it. But they've done lots of stuff in the past. Like Mr. Beast was the one before that, and I wonder whether they're going to do kind of multi-franchise releases or whether it's just going to be their standard characters.
So they've got all their standard characters so far, but Raving Rabbids is a part of the Italian series, because like the Italian one are already on series 3 of theirs, whereas PMI toys are still on series 1. But for some reason, the series 1 stuff's only just reached UK. But they also do like they're the same people that make those in Smiths. You'll see them. They're like the stretchy monsters. There's like a werewolf and an ape and a there's like they're like £3 or something, like a little packaging. It's the same company that met them basically. So they've made like Stumble Guys stretchy things and keychains and all sorts. But yeah, they've in series 3 they've already done the Pudgy Penguin crossover, and they've also got the Raving Rabbids crossover. So it must be only a matter of time until they're contacting other companies and trying to get the Stumble Guys He-Man or whatever in the range.
Yeah, I just think that
unboxing all them toys this week, I've basically got a full-on bag of minifigures now.
I just think it's like an easy win, really, because you'll get fans of like He-Man, for example, end up buying a dozen blind bags to get the He-Man and Skeletor or the Teela or something. You know what I mean? Like, I know for me with some of my collections, like if there's minifigures of stuff, like with some of the mini mates, for example, like the Power Rangers and the Turtles, like they go into my collection with the other figures. So yeah, maybe that's something that's coming.
Oh, if they did like a He-Man and made it the 1 in 32 chase or something, and then just all the regular figures in the line, that'd be the way to do it, wouldn't it? They'd make so much money.
They would make an absolute killing. Absolutely.
But I need Disney to hurry up and make more of the Disney Doorables Saturday afternoon club, because Powerline is just amazing.
That's cool. That is cool.
And I couldn't help but get. Obviously, I needed Roxanne and Max as well, so they're on my shelves now. But yeah, I hope they released like I was sat there like thinking I hope they do like Chip and Dale and the Jungle Book, Tailspin, and all that good stuff.
There's so much scope with that. You know what I mean? So much scope.
But as well, I have to show you these as well because these are so cute. Jurassic Park. I'm not sure if you saw me do my blind bags of those this week. There was 3 to collect. You can get them at Sainsbury's, and it's like one of them Treasure X style things. It's like a lab, and you get like a little pot which is full of slime, and the dinosaurs in the little pot. I kind of didn't want to take them out of the slime because they look cool in the slime, but I had to unbox them. So being like, you got the little Triceratops, and you got like a little tiny T-Rex, and the one that I can never say, the Dilophosaurus.
Dilophosaurus.
I can never say it.
That's I didn't even know they were a thing.
Yeah, they are absolutely awesome. They came out, and I think I've only ever seen them in Sainsbury's. I've not seen them anywhere else, and they're currently on Sainsbury's 2 for £8 offer. And they've got codes.
You get some random ones though, don't they?
Yeah, but they've got codes on the bottom, so you've got to make sure you buy A, and then B, and then C, and then you get one of each.
Oh, okay, there you go. A little bit.
There's only 3. There's only 3 in the collection.
Yeah. Andy H in the comments said, "Is that a real sound of a dinosaur?"
Yes, you know it, Andy. Them dinosaurs go.
I think some paleontologists have confirmed that is what dinosaurs sounded like. Cool. Okay. There's loads to talk about this week. Loads to talk about. Where do we even start? We're going to start entertainment.
Mate, WrestleMania. Let's get the elephant in the room out of the way.
Let's get that that out of the way.
'Cause I know you're not.
Obviously- Go on. You
I say,
said-
I know you're not. I know you're not the biggest kind of wrestling dude these days, but
I know the Rock. I know the Rock and Cody Rhodes match. I watched the highlights.
but do you know what The Rock is currently going by? What moniker he's currently using?
Go on.
He's named himself the Final Boss.
Oh yeah,
which is the best video game reference I've ever heard. And
Yeah.
last night he came out to like a proper arcade style version of his intro, and it came up like level, like final level, like all like proper old school arcade sounds, and it come up saying final boss, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But spoilers for anyone in the chat, by the way. This is night one that I'm talking about, obviously. But yeah, Cody Rhodes lost. Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes lost the opening match, which I was bound to happen, but they did lose.
Did you see? I'm really surprised.
Oh, it's storytelling, isn't it? The hero has to lose to overcome in the end. Because you know what tonight's going to be, don't you? It's going to be Cameo City tonight. Because the idea is now it's bloodline rules, which means no disqualifications and all the bloodline will be there. And after watching the what do they call it? The Hall of Fame thing, we saw that the Rock's all the family are in town. So like Rikishi was there, and they had all the, I think it was the Rock's grandmother and things like that, or great grandmother or something. Like all the elderly ones were there, and a lot of the surviving members of the Inouye family. So I mean, they're all in town. So they're all going to be at ringside tonight, I reckon. And
so they're doing 3 nights. Is it
2 nights?
Or
2 nights.
2 nights. So
Tonight is
2
the final.
2 nights, 2 matches. Yeah.
Yeah. So
How do they crown a winner?
Well, no, because last night was night 1, and the idea was it was Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, as a tag team, against The Rock and Roman Reigns. And the idea was if Cody and Seth won, then there would be no bloodline at ringside for the Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns title match. That was the stipulation. So Cody Rhodes lost last night, meaning that tonight it's bloodline rules, meaning no disqualification. All the bloodline will be at ringside, like lumberjack style.
Yeah. Okay.
But that to me means that obviously Cody Rhodes is going to have his team of people. So like Seth Rollins' match is the first match of the night, meaning that he'll be having his match and then he'll be fully refreshed, ready for in 4 hours' time to come out again. So I reckon he'll turn up at the finale to help, Cody. As well, Jay and Jimmy Uso had their match last night. Mm-hmm. So I reckon them two will also appear tonight as well, because they'll be refreshed and ready to go again. And I think the big thing is going to be, because obviously The Rock is going to try and screw over Cody. The big thing is either going to be Triple H doing your pedigree in The Rock, because they're like old rivals and Triple H getting involved, but he has got a really bad injury, so I doubt he will. I think it will be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Because that will get the pop, won't it? If all of a sudden The Rock's in the ring, he's Cody Rhodes is laid out, he's dragging Roman Reigns' body to put on top of him as they always do, and go, count it, ref, count it. I'm The Rock, count it. And all of a sudden you hear the that would the pop from the crowd would be insane. They just see Stone Cold walking down. Man, and just Stone Cold stunner The Rock, and then pick up Cody Rhodes and like dust him off, and then they'll end the match, won't they?
That'd be very cool.
It's got to be something like that. A bit like when they did Sting versus Triple H. Do you remember that a couple of years back?
Yeah.
And they had like NWO come out, even though they didn't really do anything. They're all old men, but it was just the pop of them being there alongside DX side by side.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's the pop that they want. So I mean, Stone Cold would create the pop. Old rival of The Rock as well.
And there isn't anyone else that could come out.
Other than the only other person I can think of that would get an equal pop, not as big but equal, I would say, could be John Cena, because he's kind of like the justice guy, he's the good guy, he'll set things right, and then that could set up John Cena versus The Rock for next year maybe, and have a Hollywood versus Hollywood kind of match. But no, I definitely think that there's going to be something tonight. There has to be. There's no way they're just going to have a regular match. There's going to be something tonight.
There will be something. There will be something. And where is it that people watch it? For anyone that's kind of listening to your commentary and going, "Oh man, I want to watch."
Where can they see it? Sorry, did you say?
Yeah.
WWE Network is the way to watch it in the UK. The WWE Network, $9.99. Grab it now. It's going to be on Netflix very soon, though, as of next year. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna open it up to a whole nother audience. Yeah, no, I don't know. I was surprised that I was surprised that Cody lost, but then I didn't know that was the. I didn't realize that night 2 was based on night 1, the draw. I wasn't watching it closely enough to know that. That makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I mean, Cody's got to go over because he's not. There's no point.
There's no way. Yeah.
Any of the other, like, Cody's got to go over. He's, they're pushing him to be the next big one, aren't they? So
the problem is
he's been around for ages, hasn't he?
Yeah, for someone that's been watching over 30 odd year now, they're not going to let him go over clean, though. There's no way he's going to pin Roman Reigns clean because they've built up Roman Reigns as this machine for too long. Having Cody beat him just undermines him. So what they're going to do is have somebody either turn on Roman Reigns. Maybe The Rock has been playing all this time and now, you know what I mean, he's going to turn good guy again. Which, again, I can't see really happening, but they could do it. It'd be crap enough to do that to us. But I honestly think it'll be a big return or a big babyface wrestler come out.
What if that really is the big pop tonight?
Mate, WWE have done worse. They've done a lot worse, put it that way.
Yeah.
But it depends. Now that Vince is out of the picture and that Triple H is the head of talent creators, is the head of like the creators department now.
I don't think we're allowed to say that name. I thought it was he who shall not be named.
Yeah.
And WWE in the same sentence anymore.
Yeah, so now that Triple H has taken over fully, because he kind of said that last night as well, that at the very beginning of WrestleMania, he kind of said, welcome to a new era of WWE. They were kind of talking about it.
Yeah.
And like him and The Rock are kind of firmly in control of everything now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, The Rock has got like a big high up quite role now on the TKO board, I believe.
Do you think that The Rock will be around now for a while? Do you think he's kind of come back for a while, or do you reckon it's just because
off and on? I think off and on. I think he might have a couple of matches in him, and then I reckon he'll hang his boots up. But I reckon he'll go into more of a managerial role, a bit like Triple H. Like I could see them doing like a Survivor Series style thing where it's Team Rock versus Team Triple H. You know what I mean? Team Game versus Team Rock or something daft. You could see The Rock becoming the kind of like general manager of SmackDown because that was the brand he helped create, and then Triple H take on Raw.
The thing is, and if he does, like if The Rock does kind of come into that role, it would make more sense for the Stone Cold cameo because Stone Cold's whole persona was about sticking it to the man, wasn't it? Like, but obviously, so much of his storyline was interwoven with Vince McMahon and that kind of storyline. So if The Rock does kind of go into that role on and off, it would kind of also make sense as to why Stone Cold, even if only for WrestleMania, like he comes back and it kind of all
fits together,
doesn't it? Yeah. So,
but like Figure Fan is. Sorry, go on.
Go on.
I would say, but like Figure Fan is saying there, yeah, I could very much see that as well. The Roman saying something stupid, like, help me, I'm your tribal chief, or I'm the head of the table, using one of those catchphrases, and The Rock being like, there's only one head of the table, bitch. Boom! And laying him out. Still not helping Cody, but just for himself, taking out Roman. And then, again, that could set up Roman Reigns versus The Rock for next year. That would be a big match.
Bethany Beth as well saying, did you notice The Rock's idea to turn heel? I think that makes a lot of sense. I think if I was in his shoes as well and I was coming back, I'd want to mix it up and do something a bit different.
If you remember, he was always the heel. He was always the bad guy, but people loved to hate him. Same with Stone Cold. He was always a bad guy, but people just loved to, he would love a heel, don't they? The Rock used to do the whole thing of, he did that whole promo of, like, for years people shouted, die Rocky, die at him, and booed him, and now he did that whole, no, you don't get to sing along with The Rock. No, you don't get to do the catchphrases with The Rock. You shut your mouth, know your role. All them catchphrases were against the audience.
Cut everybody out as well, cut everybody off as well. When he'd ask them questions and just cut them off, wouldn't he? Like, no, it's cool. It's cool. I don't know. It's interesting. I think there's no denying that their storylines get people talking and get people invested. Like, they're doing the right thing with what they're doing. I just didn't think I'd see The Rock at WrestleMania again. I was surprised. So, it'd be cool.
tonight is gonna be awesome because it's mainly all championship bouts tonight, so it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good night.
Yeah. No,
Looking forward to
Stone
it.
Cold. If Stone Cold does cameo tonight, it might pull me back in enough.
He's been training. He's been posting videos on his Instagram of him training. So I mean, usually that means some like a return, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. It'll pull me back in. If Stone Cold comes out tonight, even if it's only a cameo or a short run or whatever, then that would definitely pull me back in.
Yeah,
Definitely, 100%. What other entertainment stuff? Where else are we going? Should we X-Men?
What? I haven't seen X-Men '97. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know what episode it was. Was it the arcade one this time?
Yeah. Well, it's a weird kind of two-parter, so I won't go into too much detail. But
yeah, you can do it. Go for it.
You got the first half of it, which is Jubilee in the computer game. So it's like Mojo Universe, which is very cool. Got a little Spiral cameo. You got Mojo.
Oh, so is it Mojo? It's not arcade. I assumed they were going to introduce arcade.
No, it's Mojo. So it's all done very much as the Mojo, and it's all kind of like he talks very much about how like television's dead, and it's all about video games, and he's kind of going into that that kind of era. It's a cool little half episode, and then we had another half episode which I can't for the life of me remember what it was about.
It was very impactful then.
I actually can't remember what it was about.
Nope.
No, it was the general the main storyline that they've been following, but yeah, nothing massive from what I remember. Yeah, nothing massive. For me, and I know you don't watch it, but for me, it's all been about Invincible this week, and last week, and the last couple of weeks, because obviously Invincible had a mid-season kind of break. It's over on Amazon Prime for anyone that's interested, and yes, it's basically come back onto our screens again. And it's just very cool. It's just a very cool show. And I don't know. I kind of forget that I'm watching an animation with that. It's just Invincible is a good thing, but I'm not going to go into too many details because you won't know any of the characters or storylines. But it's going deep. It is going deep. It's emotional. It's very real. There's lots of blood. There's lots of head pops and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, no, very good. Bad Batch.
Yeah, I saw Bad Batch this week.
Yeah, I think I'm 1 week behind.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I think I've missed a week, and I'm watching it a week behind. What was the last episode I saw? What was the one after Ventress?
The one after Ventress is the one that we're on.
Oh, okay. I'm halfway through that one then.
Yeah, so you're at the one where it's the assassin clone.
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah. So yeah, we've got that weird assassin clone that sounds a lot like Crosshair.
Yeah.
I love online that they're going, I wonder who it is. It's a clone of Crosshair. Come on.
Yeah, it's going to be.
There's a reason why our Crosshair is like his hands are in now. It's because they've taken something out of him to put into this assassin guy, haven't they?
Yeah. Yeah. Andy H said it's a double episode this week. That's why I'm an episode behind.
I think I've not seen it then. I think I might have missed one. So I've seen the one with the assassin clone.
Yeah, I thought there was one I had missed. I'm gonna have to go and watch. It's been one because I've been out so many nights this week. It's just been one of them ones where I've not really.
So did you watch it to the end then? Have you seen that one to the end?
I haven't watched it to the end. No, I'm.
All right, okay. We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, I watched X-Men. I watched Invincible. Caught up on all that. I went and saw Kong versus Godzilla as well.
Any good?
It's monster smashy. It's it
does what it says on the tin.
I really enjoyed it. No spoilers because you haven't seen it, and I don't know if anyone in the chat has seen it. But as far as kind of a big monster movie goes, it was pretty cool. It's much heavier Kong storyline than it is Godzilla. It felt like a bit of a Kong versus Godzilla, whatever. Just it was a bad title. It should have been a King Kong film. There's a lot of Godzilla in it, but not as much as you would expect. And all the big monster fight kind of takes place in the last 10 minutes. So there's a lot of there's lots of apes, there's lots of titans, there's lots of little gorillas and all that kind of stuff like that. There's lots going on, but the big fights take place in the last 10 minutes, like with all of these films. But yeah, it was a really good. It was enjoyable. It was definitely enjoyable. I did not walk out going, "Well, that was a waste of time." I walked out going, "No, this is cool. Like that's King Kong and Godzilla." Like, yeah.
I'm gonna go see the first Omen on Tuesday. That's my because Cineworld. I'm not sure if yours is like this now, but my Cineworld like do tiered tickets now.
Oh, okay.
So if you go like Monday to Thursday during the day, it's like £5 a movie. Even for the latest blockbusters like Omen, it's £5 a movie. Whereas if you go from 4 o'clock onwards on any of those days, you'll be paid £10.99.
Oh,
so because I'm obviously off now doing YouTube full time, I was like, well, I'll just go see these films during the day for a £5.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go. I've got a ticket for Tuesday afternoon for I think it was £5.10 or something stupid for my ticket, which is better than £11.99. So I thought I'll go see that. I'm looking forward to it. It looks good.
Totally transparent when it comes to cinema tickets. I don't know what the full charge is because my wife's a childminder, and so she has these childminder pass things that you pay a certain amount per year, and you get loads of stuff at reduced rate. So we get our cinema tickets at a reduced rate because of that. So I always buy it through an umbrella company into the cinema. But so I don't actually know what a full cinema ticket costs, unless of course they've got loads of cool merch and I want to pick up on all that. So I go oh no, I'm going to buy my ticket there because I want the silly badge or the promotional poster or something like that. But yeah,
and that's the thing which annoyed the crap out of me this way, because obviously our cinemas couldn't even be bothered to get the Ghostbusters things in, and they couldn't be bothered to get the stupid Dune popcorn buckets from America and things like that. But apparently we're getting
Dune bucket. Why? Come on, what?
Personal reasons. But we are getting the Garfield ones. We're getting a big Garfield head to fill up. Behave yourselves.
I know. To be honest, the closest cinema to me is an Odeon. And the thing about Odeon for me a few years back were the kind of posters that they did. And they were usually free. They weren't something that you had to purchase. And with certain films, they just kind of gave them away. And then with some of the bigger blockbusters, they had 2 or 3 that you could go and get. So with Infinity War or Endgame, they had 5, and they gave out a different one on a different time period.
Yeah.
So you had to kind of go and see it 5 times to get the whole set, or at least know somebody that was going. And yeah, that was really cool, and I really like that. And they did it for all sorts of films. And at one point, I collected loads of them, and then they just randomly stopped. And I was like, oh, that's a shame. I mean, you can't even see them. A lot of them are up on the ceiling there. Endgame there was 4, and Infinity War there was 5. There you go. I'm looking at them now. But yeah, they were.
I always hate when they do that, because Cineworld, they always give you them on the way into the cinema. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this now? I'm sat there with this stew holding onto a poster while I'm watching a movie.
Yeah. No, I'm disappointed they didn't do some of the Ghostbuster buckets and stuff like that, because
they would have sold like hotcakes.
Oh,
they would have sold.
So cool, so cool. And in recent years, they're the only things that have kind of swayed me. With I think the last thing I got was a Guardians 3 popcorn bucket, because it had a light up display on it, and I couldn't turn the damn thing off, and it was flashing in my garage for about 9 months, and then eventually died. And I never use them. You can't use them for anything. They're too kind of awkward to display or store. So you just kind of end up buying this thing. Oh, this is really cool. I think my son's still got a Rogue One bucket as he's been in his bedroom. I'm pretty sure the one he's using. But yeah, I wanted some of the Ghostbuster ones, but hey ho.
Yeah. So did you see the trailer for Star Wars Tales of the Empire this week?
Yes.
Looking forward to that.
Very, very quickly, Figure Fan 36 did just say, mine did the slushies for Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, mine did too.
Yeah.
The slime, lemon and slimer. And slimer. Very tasty.
So yes, Star Wars trailer.
Yeah, Tales of the Empire. So obviously we had Tales of the Jedi the other year, which gave us some stories of Ahsoka and the sort of crossover episodes with the young version of Count Dooku and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This time round, we're going to get a story that's going to help us complete a bit more story from Barriss Offee, which is a character from Clone Wars. So she was the apprentice of Ahsoka. It's the reason Ahsoka left the Jedi Order when Barriss got arrested, and everyone obviously was always wondered what happened to her, and now we know she became an Inquisitor.
Yeah.
So,
It looks very, I don't want to say dark because it's not going to be dark, but it looks definitely a darker tone, doesn't it? Like the way that they're pitting the two off against each other and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, it looks very interesting. I'm a big fan of the Star Wars animation. I'm kind of pleased that they're still pushing it because obviously back in the day, if you were a Star Wars fan, you had your Clone Wars and then obviously your Rebels and stuff. And there were two types of Star Wars fan, weren't they? The ones that accepted the animations and ones that ignored them. And obviously those that ignored them are now kicking themselves because they're going to have to go back and rewatch like years worth of content to kind of catch up with certain characters. But I'm glad that they're still pushing it.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever go away now. I've got a feeling the next thing we're going to see in the animation is going to be stuff around the High Republic to kind of get us ready for Acolyte and to push that era a little bit more. I think we'll either get something around that, or Filoni could work his magic and make us like Rey a little bit more and give us some more stories of Rey. I think that could be an interesting way to go.
Yeah. Yeah,
but yeah, I don't think the animation's going away anytime soon at all for Star Wars.
No, I just like it because it can do what it's doing in respect of filling in gaps from previous, like what like you say with like the Dooku stuff that we saw in the last lot that we kind of didn't know about, but we knew about, but now we can actually watch. That makes sense. And I just think that there's so much scope, there's so much opportunity with that you could do, and I kind of wish that kind of Marvel had played on that a little bit more, that instead of giving us kind of completely different things, they would give us a kind of filling in, like even if it's kind of like a Winter Soldier episode where it shows some of the things that he did between being captured and obviously being kind of reprogrammed or whatever it is in Civil War, like little things like that kind of fill in the blacks, similar to what the Black Widow film did. But you imagine if that Black Widow film was condensed down into like a 40-minute animation, how cool that would have been.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sort of disappointing-ish in a movie. Figure fan said, I would love a Star Wars What If. That'd be quite fun. That would definitely be quite fun. I think it'd be quite confusing, but but just before we do move on Marvel, Thunderbolts. There's been quite a few kind of conversations, like Florence Pugh. Is Florence Pugh, is that her name?
Yeah, Florence Pugh. Yeah,
she's been doing some like live streams and kind of posting videos from the set of the film. So we've kind of seen her costume. We saw Ghost's new costume as well. So there's little bits trickling out, which is quite exciting because it's one that I'm actually quite excited for it. I really am. I'm hoping for the same kind of hype that we got at Civil War. I really am.
Really?
I'm holding out hope.
For
I just think with all of the Marvel content that we've had in previous years since Endgame, it's all been very disjointed and kind of not great. And then this is the first one where we're putting a load of those characters together in one film. You know, I know we've had cameos like Doctor Strange in Spider-Man, X, Y, and Z, but this is the first one where we've kind of like, right, you've seen this person, this person, this person, and this person. We're putting them all together in a film. Yeah, so there we go.
Send in the B team.
But yeah, exactly. Very quick. Bethany Beth said, over here, Danny and Jazz Store has a few Ghostbusters Afterlife cinema items. Yeah, see, the Afterlife stuff I don't think was that hard to come by. Like, quite a few cinemas did have the Afterlife stuff, but Frozen Empire, just non-existent. Absolutely non-existent. And very quickly on Ghostbusters as well, before we do move on, Plasma Series released the slimed versions, didn't they, of the original. They're on Amazon now for like 15, 16 quid.
Nice.
So if anyone is after a full lineup of the original 4, you can get them on Amazon. You can get the whole lineup for like 60 quid. So there we go.
Spot on. Yeah, Joker. We finally got an announcement this week that the Joker will be giving us a teaser on the 10th of the 4th. So,
Cool.
a few days' time. And I like the fact they use the tagline, "The world is a stage."
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool. And apparently, from... I was reading online earlier when I was looking for this slide to put up. The name of the film, I can't pronounce it, but you know that Joya.
Do Le Follet or Folex or whatever. Yeah.
Do you know what that means?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a shared psychosis.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know it meant that. So yeah, it's a shared psychosis.
Yeah.
So this is going to be like this is her descent into madness, then, isn't it? And he's kind of along for the ride with her.
I think that the reason oh, hang on, just very quickly, Bethany Beth did say I meant Frozen Empire. So there we go. So if you're close to Danny and Jazz, they have some Ghostbusters Frozen Empire cinema stuff. Yeah, so I think not that I'm not hyped for this, but I think that the title gives a lot away. I really do, because obviously the first Joker film, we realised that 90% of what we saw was in his head, and the title of this film basically means that it's that, but a shared experience.
Yeah.
So what we're going to see, I think we're going to be watching it very much as in, well, is this real or is this in their head? Because with that as a joint combined psychosis, whatever the exact terminology is, they're both going to be in the same like headspace.
From what I've gathered from because we've obviously only had stills and things so far, but from what we've seen in the stills, there's like a lot of courtroomy stuff. So I can only presume this is following on straight from the last film, and that this is like the trial of the Joker from his crimes of the first movie.
Yeah.
And you know, when somebody's not competent to stand trial, they have assessments and things like that, and they have is it called a responsible witness or responsible something?
Yeah,
and I think basically Harley Quinn or Dr. Quinzel is that for the Joker basically, and then during her assessment of him and during the trial and everything, I think she slowly descends into madness, dealing with him this kind of thing.
I think what's going to be interesting about this as well. Sorry, carry on.
I was just gonna say that obviously this version of because like normally, like when you've seen Suicide Squad and things like that, it was he threw her in a big vat of liquid and she turned into Harley overnight kind of thing. This is a film that's grounded a lot more in a reality. So like this version of the Joker is very different from things we've seen before. So I'm very interested to see the actual her going in, like turning into Harley this time, because it's going to be a lot more grounded. Yeah, and it could be a high if they go down the proper route of the way they're doing the comic books, it could be very dark.
Yeah, I think what interests me the most as well is that obviously we know the story, as in we know that she's a doctor that falls in love with a patient and basically becomes his wife, girlfriend, whatever the correct terminology is. But we all know that kind of story. This version of the Joker is very different to what we've kind of seen, even though it's got roots in obviously the kind of comic book lore and the things that we've seen before. But he is very different in the respect that he's an absolute loser throughout 90% of the film. He's not got a Joker costume, a Joker persona, has he? He just happens to be someone that also doubles up as a clown and is in clown makeup and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So whereas previously, like, the Joker is a persona that he has, and Dr. Quinzel kind of falls in love with that persona and therefore becomes Harley Quinn, whereas he hasn't technically got that persona in this. So what is it, like, he hasn't got that persona and he very much is a loser. What is it that she's going to fall in love with, and how are they going to kind of show that relationship develop? And I think that's the most interesting part for me.
Yeah. Or I hope they don't go. I hope this isn't, because my worry is that they literally go down the route of it was all in his head kind of thing, and I hope they don't do that.
That she's not real.
No, she's real, but she's his doctor. But in his head, she's becoming this female version of him, like the clown makeup, and she's becoming a Joker, a kind of S character herself. And then at the end of the film, it shows Joker going to prison or whatever, and her sort of saying goodbye to him, and she's not that character, and it's all in his head, and he's falling in love with her, kind of thing.
Okay, off the basis of what the film's called and what you've just said, here's my prediction. My prediction is that we are going to see two kind of visions of what's going on. So he's going to have that kind of internal vision that she does exactly that. She falls in love with him because in his head he's the star. Do you know what I mean? He's desirable, so of course she would fall in love with him, and we'll see all of that stuff. And I think we'll see in her head, when you kind of have a bad choice and you kind of think in your head, well, what would happen if I jumped off this bridge? What would happen? Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what we're going to see from her perspective. But I think that the two are going to cross over, that there are going to be shared exaggerations of the situation, and then that's where their spark ignites, that they somehow have the same fantasy. Does that make sense? That's my prediction.
But we'll find out very soon on the 10th. Not long at all now, a few days away.
I don't think it's going to give anything away. I think we're going to get the money shots. We're going to see her kind of in costume. We're going to see them doing something. There'll probably be a whole 30 seconds of them dancing like this, like we see in the poster.
Yeah. We still don't know how much of this film is a musical, because they did say this was a musical a long time ago, and then they've kind of backtracked and said there are musical sequences. So it's like we still don't know how much of this thing is going to be musically infused.
Yeah.
I wonder, like you say, it'd be cool if it was two different versions of the same thing happening. One from his perspective, one from hers. And in her head, it's a musical because she's a singer, obviously. So it makes sense to have Lady Gaga performing the musical bits. So in her head, she is, the damsel from the musical kind of thing. Yeah. And she has her act 2 moment of doing the songs and doing all the, singing about what she wants out of life, and the prince is going to come save her and all that crap. And then in his perspective, it's like dark and grimy. And
thing is that even though she is a singer, she is a very talented
actress. Oh God, yeah.
And I think that she is going to really bring a new perspective to the role. And old man and kind of sadistic as this might sound, I really hope that this version of Harley is what it should be.
Yes,
because Harley's been sexualized, she's been glamorized. You have 8-year-old girls dressing up as a Harley Quinn at Comic Cons and stuff like that, and we've said it a million times before. That's not who the character is or the comic book backstory is. And I really hope that I hope a lot of people kick off and go, well, that's not Harley Quinn, when it really is Harley Quinn, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because DC for years have turned Harley into Barbie, basically. And Margot Robbie now playing Barbie, it just shows Harley. That same. It is Harley, she's based. It is just Harley, and she didn't really. I know it's not her fault, but they didn't. They haven't ever really touched on a proper Harley, and I think Lady Gaga has the darkness in her to do it. A proper domestic abuse Harley Quinn, the proper Harley Quinn from the comics.
Yeah,
as evil as that sounds, that's what it is.
And if any film has got the scope to do it, it's this Joker, this universe, it's this.
Phoenix and Gaga together, they can do it. They're both very, mature actors that could do it.
Yeah,
and make this very dark.
I'm excited. It's definitely one of the films that I'm really looking forward to this year.
Yeah, 100%.
That and Deadpool, top of my list.
Oh, Deadpool's just. I can't wait for that bad boy. There's not a whole other level in it.
But speaking of Deadpool, we spoke about this during the week. The whole April Fool's Day.
Yeah, they did nothing with it. They released. I got a press release of the week before saying, "Don't forget, 1st of April is April Fool's Day." Unless that was Marvel's sick joke of an April Fool's, I don't know. We'll send an email out to all the press things telling them to look out for something, and it's April Fool's Day, and then nothing happens. April Fool's, unless that was the joke and it just went over in my head. I don't know, but they told us to expect something, and nothing happened except those figures that released a week before.
Yeah, It made no sense to me. No sense at all. I saw absolutely nothing that indicated towards Deadpool on that day.
Yeah. I was
Like,
expecting something in like Vanity Magazine or Empire or something.
I
A
even
load of set
thought
pictures or
that
something.
there was all the Blu-ray covers that was released where he like kind of posed in as other films, and
Yeah.
for Deadpool 1 there was all the billboards, wasn't there, with like the emojis and stuff like that. I thought that there would be something like that. Like I really thought there would be something like that, but no, nothing. Absolutely nothing. However, surely we are due some Marvel Legends announcements, releases soon. Like,
I don't know. Do you know what I had in my hands in Wakefield Comics? I had Hallows Eve and I had Jack-O-Lantern in hand,
yeah,
and I put them back.
they were the
I was
ones they were the ones you were hyped for as well, weren't they?
Yep. I picked them up and I was like, eh. And like Lynn, my wife, looked at me and just went, "You don't really collect Legends anymore. Why do you want them?" I'm like, I actually don't know. I think it's because they're orange and they're Halloween and look cool. And she's like, "Do you want them?" I'm like, "Not really." So I just put them back then.
Yeah.
Put them back.
I meant more in relation to Deadpool though, like Deadpool Legends, like the fact that they released those two re-releases. I think we said this last week. Like, really indicates that there's something coming, and I wonder whether it will come pre-movie or post-movie.
Post movie. Marvel, everything's changing at Hasbro. They're a lot slower now. They're a bit more reactive than anything. I think it's because for years they released figures and then everyone went, well, that ain't screen accurate. So I think now they're just like, well, we'll just wait for the film to come out. Then we'll make sure they're screen accurate and get it right first time.
Yeah.
I think they're taking that approach now.
Unless it's the Spider-Man Iron Spider suit where they still put on.
Still haven't fixed it.
Still haven't fixed it. Yeah, no, I don't know. It's the same for me though. Like with the Marvel X-Men 97 wave, like wave 2, and I'm just kind of like, you know what? There's nothing in there that appeals to me. Like the Goblin Queen does appeal to me, and the new Angel that's been released does appeal to me because they will fit in with my collections. They'll fit in with my X-Men. They'll fit in with my sort of X-Men animated series. But apart from that, like even the Executioner that we saw in one episode at the beginning, I'm like, I don't need a figure of him. Like he was there for 5 minutes. Like, no thanks.
So I'll make you laugh now. People can boo me as much as they want and say, they can tell me I'm all sorts of scumbags. But let me just share this. I was in Wakefield Comics, and like I say, you can even see it. You can even see it in the picture in the background.
Oh,
they had. Oh, your camera went off. They had all the Marvel Legends that you could possibly want on the shelf, and I put them back, and I picked up these 4 little plushies.
Wow. There's the Halloween Eve that you held.
I held that in hand and put it back. And they did even have the Goblin Queen. They had the Cyclops, and they had all the cool Marvel Legends. But I got more excited about Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
that is how much I've tailed off now.
The thing for I've not tailed off with Marvel Legends at all, not at all. But I was a completionist, and I had, like we said before, like I had everything, and for the first time, for as long as I can remember that I've been collecting Legends, I'm at a stage where I'm just like what's the word? Like picking the odd thing that I want, and so it's. But I've enjoyed picking up like other stuff and getting other stuff sent that things like the Street Fighter Power Ranger crossovers and Jurassic Park figures and bits and pieces like that, as opposed to every single Legend. So
yeah,
I will get Goblin Queen.
Yeah, I've been the same. I've been, and I mean, you can tell from behind me. Look at that. That shelf's completely bare now. Them shelves are bare now, ready for new stuff. I've been enjoying what I've been doing recently, and as much as people can boo it and hate it as much as they want, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and that's the main thing.
I think the thing that my frustration is I'm getting itchy fingers because obviously I'm collecting 6-inch, 12-inch figures now, and there's a couple that are on their way. So I've got the So Toys, Wolverine and the So Toys Cyclops, but they're not due till like 2025. There's the Ghost Rider that I'm supposed to be getting, and that's not coming out now until June, I think it is, where it's supposed to come out in like March. And I don't know, the release schedule of them are so much slower that you'll see something will go up for pre-order, or something will get announced, or I'll talk to somebody about something, and it won't be for like 12 to 16 months until that's out. That it's such a long time scale, whereas I'm used to kind of getting sent Legends every month, which is a really weird. But then that's where they're the kind of allowing me to do other bits and pieces as kind of come up. Like I never in a million years would have picked up the Jada Toys Street Fighters if I was getting every single Legend that came out. But there we go. Let's talk toys. While we're on the subject of toys, let's talk toys, because there's been a bit of toy news this week, hasn't there?
Yeah, before we go on to like the thingy toys, I think this is a discussion point that I want to have, because I thought this was an April Fool's when it first got announced, but it's actually not. This is a real thing. And I'm a bit concerned by it. I'm a bit concerned.
I think this is classed as toys. Depends what you.
Oh, mate, I don't know. Do you want to call it a toy?
A life-size Megan doll.
Do you want to honestly call a life-sized version of a child a toy? Ugh. This is creepy beyond belief. Chucky, I get. And Sam, I get, because they're mythical creatures that are brought to life by some form of thing. I know this is an android, don't get me wrong, but it resembles a little girl, and it's 4 foot tall, and this is going to be in the hands of some weird people. And it's affordable at £400, which icks me out even more. Yeah,
there's definitely some ethical questions to be had about this.
As soon as this got announced, and I don't normally like, no, but this instantly made my skin crawl. I was like, it's a 4 foot little girl that they're releasing, and no.
Yeah.
Especially because NECA stuff ends up getting ripped off and knock-offed in China and stuff like that. So I mean, that mold is going to get used in some weird places. That's all I'm saying. Icky, stop, make it go away.
Yeah, it's questionable, because the thing is as well, like, I enjoyed the Megan film.
Me too.
Not gonna lie, it was a good film. I'm looking forward to the very cheesy crossovers and follow-ups and all the rest of it. But who is the consumer that's aimed at? Because I really enjoyed the film, but I would not want a life-size version of her in my collection.
Admittedly, there are some collectors that I know that are definitely going to buy that, because that's what they buy, and they've got life-size gremlins, they've got life-size things, but they're not the people I'm concerned about.
It's a very small niche. This is what I'm saying. Yeah. For such a high-end, the production costs on it are going to be high because of the size and all the tooling and stuff. It's a very, very small niche.
It's £400 to buy. It's very reasonable to get. That's the thing. It's a very reasonable price for the size and everything of what you're getting. But yeah, it was just the point of when it came out, I was like, I'm sure this is going to be an April Fool's. This is going to be just a it's going to be the 7-inch figure that they're just blowing up to look bigger. But no, it was genuinely a release, and yeah.
I did see an April Fool's. Did you see the Chucky versus Megan announcement, the poster announcement? Yeah. So there was quite a few good April Fools out, to be fair. But yeah.
Don Massini, who makes Chucky, has again gone on record, and he's actually been apparently in talks with Robert Englund, and he's saying that he wants to make Chucky versus Freddy happen. And he's saying that he wants to do it before Robert is too old, and basically saying it needs to be Robert. It can't be anyone else. It needs to be Robert doing it. And Chucky versus Freddy needs to happen, and he's really pushing for it. He's really pushing for it.
I just think in this day and age, it's something that would probably go down quite well.
If they used Robert for the speaking roles and then just had a stunt double, it would work. And then they could just have Robert spouting out all the Freddy lines at Chucky. But they were basically saying, how cool would it be that Chucky ends up on Elm Street and Chucky sleeps? Because why doesn't Chucky sleep? And he bumps into Freddy, and they have a thing of who can kill the most kids by the end of summer. And it's just them trying to doing what they do best.
So they'd be pals. They wouldn't go up against each other.
No, Domicini sees it as like a buddy comedy.
A buddy cop film.
Like a buddy cop film, yeah, like a dodgy, like he called them a weird version of Bonnie and Clyde. I could see that.
That'd be cool.
Them two teaming up would be hilarious. And then just shouting at each other and swearing at one another.
Yeah.
She would buy me the Megan doll, as she knows it freaks me out.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, go on.
No, go on.
I was just to say, Andy H, you don't want to see. If you've seen the announcements for Universal Horror Nights this year, Megan is coming back, and they're doing they had a bunch of girls that were all dressed up as Megan, and they all looked identical in the costume, and they made them do like a weird robot dance from the film, the dance that she does, and yeah, they're doing that again this year at Universal. So
I just don't find it scary though. That's the thing. I just don't find it.
No,
I don't know if I've just got to that age where kind of tax and things like that are more scary.
Well,
like,
it's like Annabelle's not scary and Chucky's not scary, but I still find them entertaining as hell.
Yeah, I find them entertaining, definitely. Yeah, that's it. Speaking of which, as well, I went to Thorpe Park as well last week. See, I did loads last week. And they've got a Walking Dead ride. Did you know that at Thorpe Park? Like an official Walking Dead ride. And there are two things at Thorpe Park that use live actors, and it's very kind of penned as like the Fright Night, because they do Fright Nights there at Thorpe Park.
Yeah.
Well, most of the theme parks do now. And the Walking Dead ride, it's a bit of a letdown, I'm not gonna lie. Like you go into this bunker and you're seeing this video of the park, and obviously walkers go in and you kind of get rushed into the bunker and you have to kind of run down this corridor and it's all flashing and stroby and that, and you know that there's live actors in there. So you're kind of like a bit hesitant. And I took my eldest two individually, one at a time, and they were both kind of like, holding on to me and stuff, but you don't come across anything. And then you get to the middle bit and it's like almost like a Space Mountain kind of roller coaster in the dark, and there's a few like gunshots and bangs and stuff like that. And then you kind of get off the end of the ride and they go, quick, exit through the cafeteria. And you go through the cafeteria and there's one guy dressed up as a walker behind a fence going, ugh. And you're like, oh, mate, like, come on. But then they have a ghost train there, right? Now, I urge anyone who visits Thorpe Park and likes scary stuff to do their ghost train. It is the best ghost train I've ever been on, right? Spoilers for anyone, right? But basically, the story of it is the story is lame. It's all about the last train and some like satanic ritual and all this kind of stuff. But you go into the train station and it's set up very much like a tube train. So it looks like a tube station, and you get onto what looks like a tube train and you're sat on it, and it feels very much like you're in a London tube train. And there's two actors on there that are kind of like collecting tickets and stuff. And then they kind of go all weird and start saying stuff and that. And then it stops and it feels like you're moving, but it obviously doesn't actually go anywhere. And then you kind of get off and you're in like this abandoned station, and you go through and there's all these crypts and skulls in the wall, and there's all these like Gothic statues around and everything. And I said to my daughter, I was like, that one's not a statue. She's like, yeah, they're all statues, Dad. I was like, that one is not a statue. And then something happens and there's some kind of thing, and then that statue like comes alive. It's got like a hood over the top, comes alive, and then so they rush you back onto the train, and you get back on the train to kind of in the story to kind of come back, and the same conductor people are on there, and something happens, and then all of a sudden there's like a switch, and the inside of the car is all like satanic looking things, and then there's a blackout and the lights come back on, and I don't know where they come from, but these two people dressed like almost like the nun from the Nun, 6'5" people, like skinny and everything like that, are on the train running up and down, banging their feet, like screaming in your face and everything like that. And I saw the most tough wannabe gangster kids going like, yeah, this ain't scary, like literally going, ah! It was brilliant. But it was genuinely like really, it was like one of them immersive experience things. And yeah, just sorry, went off on a bit of a tangent there, but such a cool like horror ride if you go to Thorpe Park. but yeah, just very, very cool. Very, very cool.
I've never done Thought Park. We've got Alton Towers, obviously, up our way, and they've got like a horror ride they've recently done up. It's like a mansion kind of thing with like a little girl ghost and stuff. But yeah, no, that sounds fun. I need to get to Thought Park at some point. I've never done it.
It's definitely worth a trip. It's a good trip.
I need to.
But it was a good ghost train.
I need to go on the Nemesis Inferno, obviously.
Yeah. See, I didn't do any of the big rides. Like, I left that to my wife and my eldest. I just went on the ghost trains and the Walking Deads and all that kind of stuff.
I need to kick off the Happy Foundation off the front row. Garfield the movie is getting a massive toy line. So Funko and PMI Toys are doing the major toys for this one. There's going to be a whole line of Funkos. These plushes are Funkos. But there's going to be a whole boatload of action figures apparently coming out. It's like little packs of toys and things. So we're going to see some proper merch for this film.
Cool.
So I just thought I'd bring that up. This is the first thing they've kind of shown, but apparently there's going to be a lot more announcements in the coming weeks and days.
Cool.
But I just saw that. I thought, Garfield, man. I've not seen a film, like a kid's film, that's had a proper toy line for ages.
No, and it's
a lost art now.
It really is. Like, it's funny you say that because I actually thought about this with my my youngest son, who's 5 now, and the films kind of come and go. You know, like they do kind of come and go, but you don't seem to have the toy lines rammed down your throat. Nope. And I just think about. And excuse me if there is a toy line for it, but things like Kung Fu Panda, like
there were toys back in the day, but nothing new. Nothing for Kung Fu Panda 4's come out. Really,
that's what I mean. Kung Fu Panda 4's just come out, and there was the TV show, the Netflix TV show, and then obviously the 3 films before that. But for my 5-year-old, that obviously Kung Fu Panda's all on Netflix. The TV show's there, the new one's in the cinema, but we can't go out and buy a Kung Fu Panda action figure. Do you know what I mean?
Isn't it?
It's just insane. It really is bizarre that those toy lines are gone. And I think as a collector of toys and as a fan of toys and stuff like that, is this the kind of start to the end? Because
I know. I was thinking of that because
the majority of things that we've got coming out now are all hitting the nostalgic vibes. Like they're all the retro stuff. Mm-hmm. They're all the, remember this, remember that. And then all the new stuff that's coming out, there just isn't the toy lines. There was a flipping toy line for Ants. Do you remember that film? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a whole range. You could get the whole, yeah.
I mean, if you look back on my channel from the beginning, my channel originally started out. I never anticipated I'd do the high-end collectible stuff. My channel was basically just toys, because everyone were talking about Legends. I went and bought all the basics, and I used to review all the Hasbro basic figures, and they don't exist anymore. You can't find them now. They don't exist.
No,
well, movies come and go now. They don't really release anything.
Ghostbusters had like a weird basic line come out, didn't they?
They didn't even release it in the UK. None of the merch came to the UK.
No, but that's what I mean. Like you can see them, but it just wasn't there. And
it's crazy.
I don't know. I mean, your key toys are still there, like your things like your Lego and your Playmobil and things like that. They're still on like a rotation. But I just think for people that aren't interested in Playmobil or kids that aren't interested in Lego, they're missing the physical play of the movies and the TV shows that they're watching. And I think
every time I go to Smith's, the kids are now going for the toys that are based on the games. So all the Five Nights at Freddy stuff that sells out instantly. If you want like Sun and Moon and like the action figures for them, you have to be there on opening day because the kids will come in and claim them. And I've noticed that like when the new Funkos come out on the release day, there's a line of kids getting the Funkos. So kids are becoming more like they're getting more collect habit than anything. And surprise toys, the blind bag industry has killed the toy industry because all the kids want these like your Five Nights at Freddy's blind bags, your plushes, your all these key ringed figures, and that's what they collect now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good action figure.
A good basic toy line
with a ridiculous accessory of like a grappling hook gun or a backpack or something. You know what I mean? Like that's what we need. Your kind of pocket money toys. £10, £11 or something. That
I remember owning when I was younger, when Shrek 1 first came out. I remember owning a Shrek action figure and a Donkey action figure.
yeah, yeah. Well, I just think back to my day when it was like things like Predator and like
RoboCop.
Alien and Terminator and stuff like that. Oh, speaking of Terminator, did you know that Edward Furlong was supposed to return for Terminator 3?
No?
You know, so I read an article this week. I've just got to tell you this quickly, going off on a tangent. But Edward Furlong, who obviously played John Connor in Terminator 2, was signed up to play John Connor in Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, right? So it was supposedly like a stupidly high, like millions contract. But one of the big things in the contract that it stated was that there'd be no drug abuse or anything like that, because obviously at the time he was known to dabble, shall we say. And he celebrated getting that contract by going out with his mates on a massive bender, as in like a big final blowout, and ended up ODing in a club. And therefore it got caught into the media and he got dropped from his contract. So Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines could have actually been an incredible sequel if it had the original John Connor. Like, can you imagine how differently that would have felt?
Yeah, it would have. Yeah,
wouldn't have made the film any better, like as a story, but it would have been the original continuation. John. Yeah, and one of the big things for me was that, well, that's not John Connor. So yeah, I know what he looks like. I saw him in Wicked Prayer. Like, you know. But there we go.
So, creepy collectibles has become a thing now because the Teddy Bears company's grown. I've
seen them in HMV.
Yeah, HMV and Smiths and all that. I've got them. I've been reviewing them since they first came out. The company got in contact with me quite early on, and I've been reviewing the Teddy Bears for them. And then obviously Creepy Cats got announced, and I was quite excited when they got announced that they're going to be in Smiths in about a week's time. Yeah. But they put this thing together because they've now created the Creepy Collectables company. And they're going to be releasing other things now, including creepy canines, obviously. But then we're going to be getting like, but they're going to give us like Bath babies, Boo Bears, and other things. So like they've got other lines now announced, which I think is quite cool.
That's cool.
So for anyone that thought these weird little plushes were going to be a flash in the pan, they're not.
No.
And Teddy Bears has already got its second series on the way.
Yeah,
they've been sharing across their social medias for the past week now that they've got a whole new line of Teddy Bears coming, and they've been improved as well. The basic Teddy Bears that came out for the original line were just like, it was like a pumpkin bear that had like an orange body, because they kept the cost down for the first wave of stuff. But this second wave's got like a ghost one coming out, and she's got like a dress on her, and they've gone like all out with the second series. So I'm really looking forward to them. But yeah, they were just such a weird little toy line. And the fact that they are from the UK, they're like a homegrown company. They started out as a tiny little company that got the toys into HMV, and then Smiths picked them up. So they've blown up big time, and it's awesome to see them like a little company get big like that.
I'm really hoping that the Boo Bears are like, what was that line back in the day where you?
Are you thinking the werebears where you squeeze the face and the grah?
Yeah, I really hope that the Boo Bears are essentially like a rebranded werebear.
That would be cool. But they've also branched out now into licensing for the first time. So they're called Just International. You've probably seen the Squish Me line. I've done a bunch of the Five Nights at Freddy's ones on my channel. But your kids have probably heard of them. They do like squishy toys. They're going to be doing a line of the Just Toys International are going to be doing a line of Squish Me's, a line of key rings, action figures. So the Teddy Bears as a brand is going to be massive now. I thought that was quite cool.
I just had to move them to realise that they were blocking something. Yeah, no, it's cool. I saw them in HMV for the first time, and I was like, yeah, these are cool. These are. They remind me of those, not in looks necessarily, but the Ugly Pets.
Oh yeah. Very similar.
It's kind of your alternative plush cuddly toy, basically, isn't it?
Yeah. Mattel as well gave us a quick look at Operetta. She's going to be the new Monster High doll that's coming out very soon. They're re-releasing all the original Monster High dolls from the early 2000s. They're all getting re-released one by one. And Operetta's had a sort of revamp for the new generation. She's the daughter of Phantom of the Opera, basically. She lives beneath the castle making music.
Yeah.
I thought that was very cool. As a big Universal Monsters fan, I do like that doll line.
Yeah. Hence the keys on her shoes and the records on her dress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just going through the other toy news. There's a lot of random stuff this week. There's a lot of wrestling toys that have been announced this week because it is WrestleMania weekend. So WWE had its big, I forgot what they call it, but like WWE Live or whatever, and they've had all the toys from Mattel on display and stuff like that. So there's been a lot of that stuff announced this week. But the only big like weird. I've got to share this. This is the weirdest thing ever. I'm sure this is like a new toy line that's made to look old, unless you can tell me something different. But yeah, Legends of Dragonor, and the first line of toys is called Dragon Hunt.
No,
So this to me looks like an old toy, like a new toy line that's made to look old.
Yeah.
And they're on those like classic He-Man style like bodies. So they look like a bunch of bootlegs from back in the day to me.
Yeah.
But this character, the witch one, just caught my attention instantly. It's just Teela repainted, isn't it? But I looked at that, I was like, I kind of like that.
Yeah, she got some kind of Harry Potter Nimbus.
Yeah. Well, it's on one side it's a broom, on the other side it's a blunderbuss shotgun-y thing.
Oh yeah.
So, but I don't know. That's just like, I don't know. She's going to be riding it and I don't want to picture that. Thank you.
They're not an existing toy line from what I remember.
Not if I remember, unless anyone can tell us differently in the comments. Andy's in the comments. I'm sure he's got his Googling skills already to the test. But yeah.
Yeah, no, these are a new thing.
But yeah, they look really odd. But I kind of like them. Like that one. That is basically Toy Story, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is literally the Toy Story ripper. But
you
yeah,
know what? The sad thing is, if these came out in the 80s, there would be a whole cartoon that went with it, a whole comic book and that kind of stuff. Whereas these look they're very He-Man-esque, like the single coloured weapons, like very He-Man-esque. But yeah.
Yeah, they're just very odd little figures.
So I'm trying to work out what these are here. So we haven't, that geezer in the middle we didn't see. We didn't see a solo picture of him. So you've got the three purple guys are like some kind of orc troll kind of clan, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got some kind of green king kind of spirit of the earth kind of character, a dinosaur character, a Halloween witch. The geezer with the wings looks kind of indigenous. There looks like some kind of storyline there. And then who is the girl with the big silver headdress? I didn't even see her.
She didn't get a single card, like a single shot.
No,
so I've got no idea. Did she?
Did. Yeah, go back.
Oh yeah, she did. Yeah, some weird Falcon Master or something.
So, yeah. Oh, some kind of
dragon scale thing going on.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't even work out what the story would be with those, like how they tie together. But you know what? I'm all here for it. We're talking about there not being any new action figures. The sad thing is they're probably going to be at collector prices, so they're not the kind of thing that we're going to pick up for your kid to just play with, which is a shame. That's what we need. We need a new toy.
These are the Formo Toy Legends of Dragon Lore Dragon Hunt. This is wave 2, by the way, so that has already been a wave of these. And these are featuring Brook Terror Caveman. And that they're the 3-pack, so they're called Brook Terror Cavemen. Those 3 orky people. Venatica, Terroraptor, Chief Talon, and Horridame. They will be priced at $34.99 each.
Yeah, there you go.
Damn.
Very quick shout out because he's listening to us. Mick Spector. Sorry if I'm quiet. I'm back to back Ghostbusters Spirit Unleashed matches, but listening and loving it. We love you, Mick. I need to get Ghostbusters Spirit Unleashed. I really do. Yeah, I need to get it. I've been looking for a new game. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. I'm sad. I've been too busy playing Stumble Guys.
You know what? When we went to Wales last year, we went for like a week, and me and my eldest two literally played Stumble Guys back to back. It was
Yep.
like every time there was 5 minutes downtime, we were like, "Quick game, quick game."
Yeah, it's because it's so easy to pick up, isn't it? And it takes no
Yeah.
time to join a game, and it's just such a fast little game to play. It's just,
And it was
But if
great fun. The three of us being on our phones and being able to all jump in the same game,
yeah.
and play together, and that's a real plus point for me with that game.
Mm-hmm. As daft as it sounds, did you watch the Gladiators final?
I haven't yet. No, we normally we can talk about it, but yeah, normally we sit down and watch it on a Saturday. But because of the different things that we were doing, we actually didn't. So we're going to watch it in the week at some point.
Yeah, they have confirmed there's going to be a second series, so it will be coming back to our screens.
Cool.
So I'm excited about that, because obviously there's one Gladiator that we've basically only seen once in the entire series, because she's been out with a broken leg ever since.
Is that what it is? There was one it's in the opening credits, isn't she?
Yeah, she's in the opening credits, and she appeared in like 1 or 2 episodes in the very beginning, and then she suffered an injury, and she's been out with like a broken leg or something ever since. She had pictures of her with like a boot on and stuff, because obviously her and Saber got injured, but Saber's injury was kind of like not as bad.
You know what? Every week when it's on, I'm like, who is she? We've not seen her. Why is she in the opening credits? Okay, that's interesting. What I am interested to know, though, because I wonder if there's going to be any new Gladiators for season 2, because and I'm probably completely wrong, but as a kid, I remember there being like new Gladiators all the time, being introduced all the time, and
I wonder if they'll drop a couple. I wonder if they'd get rid of, like, there's that guy. Is he? He's not called Venom, but you know what I mean. The Japanese looking guy who snarls at the camera and breaks his microphone every time.
I don't think he came across the way that they expected. I think that they kind of penned him as like the new wolf, and it didn't really work, did it? Because
Legend was so good at it. Legend is a villain that you like to hate. That's the thing. He's smug more than.
Did not see him coming at all, and yeah, he's fantastic on the mic.
So he solidified himself as the kind of villain of the piece. So I can see them dropping Viper. And I'm going to be honest, I can see them dropping Dynamite.
Dynamite.
The little one. She's the tiny pocket rocket girl.
Oh, I thought she seemed to be on it all the time.
She is, but I think that's because because they can only have so many ones go up against things. So I think they drop them too. She's also the smallest of the Gladiators. Yeah. So I could see them benching her and then putting someone else in there that's like a decent sized Gladiator.
Yeah. I just add in some more. Just don't even need to get rid of any. Just throw some more in there. Just, very quick one. John Hood in the comments. Pre-ordered Transformers Studio Series Swoop. Keep it geek. Oh, look at this. Here we go. Are we going to do this now because it's just popped up? Shelley said, "Can you guys give a shout out to my girls, Amy and April? It'll make them so embarrassed watching on our living room TV." Well, I don't know how we both look in high definition on a TV, but hopefully very good. Hello, Amy and April.
April, hi!
Why would they be embarrassed by that? It's a cool thing for us to share.
No, it's not.
No, it's not at all. It's not at all. Mine would be exactly the same. But no, thank you very much for commenting along. It's all good. Mick. Oh, thanks, guys. Mick said, last match ended defo worth getting into Spirits Unleashed, but I'd like more info about what Stumble Guys is, as I saw something about it. Actually, it might be Ash's channel. Yeah,
it probably will. Actually, I've been spamming it a lot recently because I've got all the toys.
Stumble Guys is a mobile game, phone game.
You can play on Xbox though as well. That's what I play. I play on Xbox, but it is a mobile game as well. Yeah. It's cross compatible, and it's just a daft little game where you just play as a little character and you just have to go through like a little obstacle course. It's a bit like a total Wipeout on steroids.
Yeah, see, I see it very much as like a Takeshi's Castle.
Yeah,
that's how I see it, like Takeshi's Castle, because it is just over the top and ridiculous, isn't it? But yeah,
I tell you what, I bet April and Amy play Stumble Guys. April, Amy, do you play Stumble Guys?
Bethany Beth's even saying hi, Amy and April.
If you want him, if you want him embarrassed, I'll thoroughly embarrass him. Don't you worry about that. I am the cringeworthy king.
What's coming up next week? What is coming up next week? Have we got much going on?
What am I doing this week? I don't think I'm doing much. I've got some stuff coming from Amazon tomorrow. I've got like four boxes of stuff, so I'll be doing a bit of a haul tomorrow. Other than that, I've got no big plans. I'm just literally taking each day as it comes, and like I say, I'm going to see Omen this week. I'm looking forward to Omen. But yeah, just chilling, killing.
Yeah, I might have a few Ghostbusters turning up. It's just a weird one. It's a weird time of year. There's not a huge amount of movements. I think I've got Angel coming at some point. I think I've got Goblin Queen coming at some point.
Okay.
It's just I don't know. I must admit, I haven't reviewed a Legend for a while, and I did these two Spider-Man figures, and I really enjoyed it. It was like, this is actually really fun to look at. But when you're looking at them, like, not every single video you're doing is a Legend.
Yeah.
It was actually quite fun. But yeah, I'll probably get into those Street Fighters. But yeah, it's that kind of weird time. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm just looking forward to. I'm saving my pennies at the moment because we've got HorrorCon coming up in Sheffield in a few weeks. I'm looking forward to that. Obviously, it's May the 4th coming up, so I'm biding my pennies, thinking there's going to be a droid pack to pick up probably. So yeah, I'm just biding my time at the moment and just waiting for new stuff to drop at Smith's, because obviously I go to Smith's weekly and there's no there. And I did my video of what's new in B&M for April, and there's a few new things. There's a few nice new sets in there. I picked those up. But other than that, no.
Cool. We should say though, before we do round the show up, obviously this is episode 146, which means we're only 4 episodes, 1 month away from our 150th episode, which feels like it should be marked. It's a bit of a milestone. 150 sounds kind of nice, doesn't it? So we're not going to do anything over the top. We haven't actually done a Geek Week Extra or Geek Week Plus for a while, have we? Maybe we have to do one of them soon. But yeah, we're not going to do anything over the top, but we have got a few little plans for episode 150. So just tune in as normal and enjoy the show. And as Sorrel mentioned, it's May the 4th coming up. So we might, if we can pull it off, put in another episode of Masters of the Multiverse. But yeah, do a Star Wars version of Masters of the Multiverse. So there we go. But we are coming to the end of the show now. Anyone that's in the chat that is staying up to watch WrestleMania, you are on the 1 hour countdown for night 2. Fingers crossed for a Stone Cold Steve Austin cameo. Now even I'm excited and I'm debating staying up to watch it. Even
mate, last night Seth freaking Rollins got beaten the hell up, and tonight he's going 1-on-1 with Drew McIntyre for the championship, and he's gonna die, and Drew McIntyre's gonna take the championship. I've got a feeling the Bloodline's gonna get involved though and screw him over, so that Drew goes over and Seth loses, and that'll just fuel the whole night for the ending and stuff. I think there's gonna be like a bubbling tension all night long. I think it's gonna be a good night. I'm looking forward to it. Last night was good. It was okay. Last night was okay, but that ending was awesome. So I've got a feeling they're going to keep that momentum going all night long now.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm well hyped.
Cool. Right, you go make yourself another coffee, Sorrel.
Don't you worry about that, Mark. I'm still good to go.
Yourself up. You've got a few hours left until the end of that WrestleMania.
4:30 in the morning, I believe it finishes.
Yeah, see, I've got too early in a start. For anyone that's been commenting along, thank you very much. We do appreciate you guys tuning in, taking the time to comment. Again, like we've said a million times, it doesn't matter where you're watching, as long as you're watching. This has been episode 146 with me, Jacob's Toys, and of course, the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell. If you're watching us on catch up or on repeat, Sorrel, what is it that I need to put in the chat?
Hashtag catch up crew.
Hashtag catch up crew. And we will be back once again with episode 147.
Yes. And Amy, April, is it not your bedtime yet? You should not be getting ready for bed now, Amy and April.
It is. Yeah, it is a bit late. It is a bit late. Everybody, thank you very much. We will see you next week. Until then, of course, Keep it geek.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and of course subscribe. Tune in next week for another live show. Until then, keep it geek. Stay up to date at www.geekweekinreview.co.uk.